Yo, what's good guys, Enigma here, and I am back with a video about adult Gohan today, although you don't see him on point right now, but it's about adult Gohan. I get a lot of questions, or I see a lot of questions, and a lot of debates about adult Gohan this season, and a lot of people are asking, why are people dropping him, is he still good, is he still top tier, top 10, blah blah blah, whatever, all of this. And I was one of the people who dropped him from last season, and obviously I talked to a lot of people who dropped him, so I wanted to give my perspective of why, just in one short video. Well, I say short, probably end up being like 20 minutes long or something. But yeah, I wanted to give my opinions on why people are dropping him, and if he's still quote unquote playable. Obviously, generally at most levels he is still playable, but overall I just think he's a little bit more demanding at the higher levels of play, and he's always been quite the selfish character, and now in season 3 what people are asking is really, is that selfishness warranted? Is it worth it? Is it worth the reward that you get now with all the changes that we have and all the other characters that can do similar things, or stronger things, or easier, do things, same things but easier? So I'm just going to give a quick, well, not quick, I keep saying quick, I'm gonna stop saying quick. I'm just going to give my opinion on why, and show you in game with some evidence and some explanation and stuff of why people are dropping him and who they're dropping him for, or what kind of builds they're dropping him for instead. So first thing I want to go over are where he goes in the team. I think in previous seasons, especially in season 1, you could make an argument for putting adult Gohan at point. Not really anchor. No one ever really played him at anchor, unless, you know, I'm talking about the higher levels of play, like in tournament play. You rarely, or I want to say never, saw an adult Gohan anchor. You generally always saw him point with Wawa's team, or Goichi when he was first playing in season 1, or mid. Pretty much adult Gohan is probably one of the only characters in the game who you can pretty much say this character is pretty much just a mid. His assists are all very, very strong. Got DP assist there, very fast startup, very good in scrambles, and easy to hit confirm, has a lot of hit stun. So his assist is absolutely fine, nothing wrong there. Blah blah blah, everyone knows that. And on the other hand, his second assist, now, as we have 3 assists, is this high block stun. Pretty relatively slow startup assist, but also the combo conversions are easy. The block stun gives some mix-ups, which I'll show you in a second. So it's pretty much like a Yamcha knockoff kind of assist. So it's kind of, if you want to play if you're not looking for an anchor but you're looking for another character with high block stun, you want to pick adult Gohan is one of your options. Now if you look at his third assist, sorry, it's the C assist, the Senko. I think everyone kind of knows what these assists do by now. Relatively slow start, obviously combo and hit, very easy to hit confirm, and it's a pretty good for neutral. Only downside really is the short, what's it called, cooldown. So if I press both at the same time, you see the cooldown will be 2.4 times slower, so that's probably that is the only downside to it. This can be mitigated obviously by DHCing to get the cooldown to be a bit shorter, and then it will come back quicker obviously. But you know, you would always have the need to, you would always want to swap him, because maybe adult Gohan's bleeding, you know, he doesn't have a lot of life left, so you don't want to swap him in, so you will be down for that assist for a little bit of time. But generally, all of his assists, or his first 2 assists, warrant putting him at mid. Obviously everyone knows the game plan by now, that you don't really want to be playing adult Gohan at level 0 pretty much at any point of the game. His level 1 gives him just a lot more tools. So if I bring in, let's level up this Gohan, and let's bring this Gohan in, not leveled up. Training, Brigado, and let's move this so I don't mess up the recording. So this Gohan is leveled up, and you get access to a teleporting overhead, which can cross up as well, using the immediate version. EX also kind of same thing, but it ground bounces. 3L, I'll put my inputs on as well, apologies. 3L, which is a command normal, obviously very active. You can assess the situation, and now this comes up, actually I'll actually do it now. This is really... Actually, no, I will cover it later. But this will come up, which will be very important later. But yeah, you get access to this. You also get access to the auto combo, which is obviously a much longer auto combo than his level 1 auto combo. And it's just very, very good for pressure. This is very good last season for staggering and getting assists back, which is one of the things that have been nerfed universally for all characters this season. So yeah, those are the things you get. You also get a... Well, actually, as you level up more, you get a damage increase. You get a base damage increase. So from level 1 to level 2, you get a 2% damage increase. So your 2L will go from doing... How much damage does it do? 600? I want to say 600. 500. It will go from doing 500 to doing 510. Yeah, 510. So not much, but it does rack up in a combo. So it does that for every normal and special, but not supers. So actually, does it have supers? Maybe it does have supers. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they're level 3. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But definitely normals and specials. So you know, I'm talking all this praise about Gohan. So then this guy's really good. He's obviously, when he's level 1, it's really strong. Blah blah blah. So why don't people play him? Why don't people play him anymore? So if we look back to season 2, obviously the obvious thing that's gone now is snapback and snapback pressure. Adult Gohan was one of the best, if not the best, at snapping your opponent and then mixing them with Universal Fuzzy that we had, and just general pressure. You know, all you remember in season 2, all you had to do was leave a 1-frame gap, which would be very, very easy with his auto combo block string in level 1. It would be very easy to reset and just completely dominate your opponent on block. And then when you felt like you didn't want to take the risk, you could easily just do EX legs and pressure and B+. So snapback's gone, so now that tactic is gone. It's not as strong anymore. Universal Fuzzy obviously has also been double whammied, so they've both been taken out. Also, you can still Fuzzy, but not from snapback setup, basically. So that got attacked twice in that specific mix-up got attacked on 2 fronts. But Adult Gohan still has a double overhead on every character in the game, which is really strong from couching. So that's still really strong. But why don't people play him anymore? So, like I said, he could use EX legs to be plus and then get his assist back. But since season 3, sorry, his assists don't read anymore from this alone. So this isn't enough to get your assist back. So you really have to completely wait and get your assist back. So it gives your opponent has a lot more freedom, basically. And Adult Gohan only has so many options to mix up to get his assist back. This is also 2Hable. And at high level, your opponent will do this. So this is why you see a lot of people, you know, not falling for this anymore. Your opponent will 2H this and try to use the pressure. So it's definitely not as strong anymore to get your assist back or to continue pressure. Furthermore, when we talk about the mix-up that he does get from EX legs, even without the forget the 2Hing and stuff. So let's say he has an assist, EX legs, assist, high-low. Obviously you get. Oops, let me get my assist back. Oh, I'm just gonna reset it. I'll set both Gohan to level 1. So get a high-low here. Get a high-low. Boom. You land. So that'll be the, obviously with an assist, that'll be the 50-50, right? Obviously that's all well and good. However, guard cancel is pretty much, not even pretty much, guard cancel is guaranteed on EX legs. Literally, there's nothing you can do. Only thing you can maybe do is hope your opponent is just autopiloting, and then you do, oops, not that. You do a light legs, then you hope your opponent is autopiloting. So, and you can punish, and even sometimes you might not be able to punish. Let me try and get this little Gohan to do legs and recover before he lands. Take that off. Oops. Okay, there we go. Right, so Gohan's gonna do it. Yeah, so if your opponent is just autopiloting, they will obviously, you can punish them. But as we all know, EX legs has a flash on it, so they will just react to the flash, not the legs. And they can also react to, they can just guard cancel on 2H. They don't even have to wait for the legs, they can just guard cancel on 2H. And the only way to punish that is by doing a very late DP. And if they don't guard cancel on 2H and you're still trying to do a very late DP, you will just get punished. You will just get punished if you don't use your assist. So it's the pressure game is really not in Gohan's favor anymore. Just on all of these fronts, right? So so his mix is guard cancel one reaction. His very strong pressure and mix up from snapback has been universally nerfed. His way to reset assists has been neutered, because although his block strings are really long, the gap now is too streamlined for everyone. Everyone has to have a 20 frame gap. So regardless of how long his block strings are, if there isn't a 20 frame gap, which your opponents will react to, and maybe reflect, maybe mash, maybe tag, maybe super jump out, super dash, vanish, you know, they have all these options to choose to react to, and it's like, Gohan doesn't do anything special to restrict these options anymore. So another thing that I forgot to mention was that they can actually, legs used to be +4, which means you would counter hit. This is another thing that the mind game is in his favor anymore. Before, Adult Gohan would actually counter hit this 2H here, but now they anti-air. And if the other player is pretty much just, they know you're gonna do JL and hold it, then they can just do 2H and then be ready to cancel into an assist or into a special and true string, and then now you've lost your turn. So that is another front where it's like there's not much you can do. You can do JS, and then let me see. I think the super dash. Yeah, and assist. Maybe you get like, let's see how much you get damage you get from that. Get about 3.5k. I don't know if this works. It does work, yeah. So you get 3.5k. So you get 3.5k. But again, there is almost no reason for them to take this risk in the first place, given that they can guard cancel, and if you're not using an assist for the mix-up anyway, they can pretty much just block. So it's rough. It's definitely rough for Gohan right now. Another strong mix-up that he does still have that wasn't really affected by the nerfs is 2L plus assist, and then let me try and double overhead or empty jump low. I cannot do this mix-up apparently. So this mix-up is still very strong. It's not a 50-50, but it is hard to block. It is hard to OS guard this. Given that because Adult Gohan is one of the very few characters that can double overhead every crouching character in the game with JLL. Very important that's JLL, not JML. I am just looking into the wrong character over and over again. So given that Adult Gohan can double overhead every single character in the game with JLL, it is very, very hard to OS guard this, to option select guard this, which is just timing your guards so that you block all the overheads and all the lows if they've already used the air dash, so they can't alter the timing, right? So it's very hard to OS guard this. So this is still very strong. Because his 2L is 0 on block, it really gives you a lot of frame advantage to do this mix up. So who do I got here? I've got Trunks. So how do you plus 30? Yeah, so I'm plus 30 there. That's the exact amount of block stun that Trunks has at this range. So you can be very plus with this, and they can't reflect. Obviously, it's a true string, so it's really, really strong. But it's obviously people would rather have to make their opponent guess. So that's one other reason why people are dropping a little Gohan for characters like Base Vegeta. Obviously, Team Gohan has the same mix-up and the same problem, but he has his neutrals better, which we'll go over in a second, and his options in block strings are better. For like taking back turns and stuff. But yeah, so that's why people are dropping in for Kid Buu, what's his name, like I just said, Base Vegeta, or they're just completely going to different kind of characters like Zed Broly, maybe completely changing the team up and going towards command grab characters like Blue Goku or Base Goku, or just going towards more neutral-centered characters like Kid Buu, etc., etc. So these are the kind of reasons that people are dropping it on Gohan. Hope that make that clear. And lastly, actually two more things. I want to talk about his neutral shortly. I did just mention it now. Although Gohan's neutral is not very good, honestly. He can play very defensive neutral, which is really good, but he cannot play very invasive neutral. So what do I mean by invasive neutral? So like someone like Trunks, he's got Change the Future and he's got Flip, right? These move forward basically moves that move you forward and at very quick speeds and cover a lot of space, and they attack a lot of space. These kind of moves are really good for like pushing your offense. So if they're behind, they can impose their presence on you basically. Although Gohan is generally a lot more defensive. So if your point character dies and he is your mid, it's very hard for him to just be like, okay, I'm in now. You know, whereas someone like GT Goku, he just says, right, I'm in now. You know what I'm saying? Right, I'm in now. Or, cool, I'm in now. You know what I'm saying? Something like this. Outside of system mechanics, although Gohan doesn't really have much. You know, people will say, oh, just EX legs and then get 2H'd, and then your character's lost 5-6k. Now, next touch kills, you have to spark, or if you're already sparked, you hold a 50-50 and you might die. So it's his neutral is like a lot of Gohan's players will tell you, oh, it's not that bad. It honestly it is kind of bad. It is pretty bad. Outside of beam, vanish, it's pretty bad. People will say, oh, he has a teleporting overhead. It's not. Yeah, it's not. You've seen that at high level for a reason. It's not a very strong tool for that kind of thing. And also, this is also used as a mix-up as well. I forgot to mention that. But alas, you know, 2Hable, offline is reactable, and obviously everyone's pretty much waiting and preparing for offline again. So, you know, these are the reasons why this character is falling off this season. So yeah, like I said, neutral, not that amazing. So the last thing I did want to talk about, which I am forgetting, if you see a very sudden cut, it's because I had just remembered. Oh yes, I remember now. Right, so I would talk about, do I still think he can be played though and picked, etc, etc. So I do think he is, like, a lot of players play this game because they like their characters and they want to know, is their character still worth playing? I think you can make teams around Gohan. Like I said, I do still think his A assist is one of the best in the game. It is probably top 5 assists in the game. It's ridiculously quick, very easy to convert off of. You can use it like a Yamcha assist and convert convert with it very easily, and it's very fast, very good in scrambles, and you can also use it for SD assist. So it still has universal applications that any character can use. It's still a very strong assist, and I would say his assist is almost worth enough playing him. It's that good in my opinion. It's that fast, it's that strong. And these are kind of teams that I think you can play him with. Kid Buu, GT Goku. The reason why Kid Buu is he's really strong with Kid Buu is that he does have a mix-up. You can't guard cancel. So let me try and do this. Hopefully I get it right first couple of times, but if not, then I'll just edit it. So we have Trunks crouching. Alright, let's go. Right, so that's the low option. I'll do the high option. Right there. So that mix-up is, you can't guard cancel it. And if they decide to, guard cancel on the 3L, so let's say guard cancel, let's put it on random, just to show you. So let's say I do the string, blah, 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 and I'm like, can 2H that, can 2H that, can 2H that, can 2H that. So no matter where they guard cancel, I can always react and punish and 2H it. So this is still really strong. This is one of the reasons why I think Kid Buu is still one of the best characters to play with him. And 3L, just to get you an idea, I think there are other assists that can kind of enable this sort of mix-up. So 3L is if it doesn't reflect. 3L is minus 2 on block. So, and Kid assist is plus 59 on block. That's a lot of block stuff. So, if you want to do this kind of mix up, you would want to use an assist with minimum 46 frames block stun. And I still don't even think with that you would be able to get this kind of high-low. I think only Kid Buu would enable this kind of high-low with so much freedom, right? So this is why I think him and Kid Buu are still one of the best characters. The team on the right that I've got here, Kid Buu or Gohan GT, is still very, very strong. The only problem with it, is damage. Damage is low with this team, so you are probably going to have to 3-touch with this team. Unless you get really clean hits. Unless your hits are really, really clean, you're going to probably 3-touch with this team. But the team is so strong in neutral, and it's really easy to convert over everything. And you get a 50-50 with Gohan. You know, it's up to you to decide whether or not you think it's worth it. So that's completely your decision. Obviously, the DHC damage as well is another problem. But point damage itself with Kid Buu it can be rough. Can definitely be rough. Obviously, if you optimize, you can still 2-touch. I've labbed some myself with this team on the right itself. You can still 2-touch, but you really gotta squeeze it out every single time, especially if you're only using 1 assist per combo. Obviously, if you're using 2 assists per combo for the 2-touch, it's really easy. But if you're doing like a light starter, 1 assist per combo, it can be rough. So that's just something to think about. Other team as well, like I said on the right, I think this team is also pretty strong. Goku, Gohan B, because we don't play CSS out here. And Trunks B. I'm joking, by the way. CSS are pretty good. I think if any of them are worth it, it's gonna be the beams. I still think they aren't as good, or they aren't worth the cooldown. But if you want to play a Gohan CSS with a team that you need a beam with, and he's the only character that you want to play, and he's the only character that you want to play that has a beam, then go ahead. You know, it's completely up to you. I just want to give a perspective of why Gohan isn't being played as much as you see in more like top level players. So you know, take the CSS thing with a grain of salt. But yeah, so generally mid, if you do see him at all. And for any kind of teams I think you can play at a Gohan point, I would play this kind of team. Super Saiyan Goku, base Goku. So this is pretty much the Wawa's team from season 2. I think this is probably the only team I would expect to see him point on. Maybe something like this as well. Gohan, Kid Buu, GT. Maybe you could switch it that way as well, because GT is a really good assist for his neutral. Then you can get in and then mix. Even with level 0, you can mix and get a true string. The same mix up I did earlier, but you know, that's if anyone needs that, I can supply you guys with that later. Or something like Gogeta, but Gogeta sucks. But it's a very similar assist to base Goku's. But Gogeta, don't play Gogeta. Play someone like maybe Bardock. Don't play Bardock with Gohan either, in my opinion. But you know, it's your decision. But generally, you want like a beam assist and then like a really strong strike assist, I would say. To be honest, just play this team if you want to play Gohan point. This team or GT instead of Super Saiyan Goku or Trunks, you know, that kind of thing generally. Again, it's just my opinion. You absolutely don't have to listen to me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I did actually record a mix-up with this assist, so I'm just going to show you. Otherwise, I would have wasted my time. That's the low option, which is a true string. I'll do it one more time because I didn't actually match reflect there for whatever reason. So that is a true string, and of course the overhead is also a true string. Mash, mash, mash. There we go. So yeah, hope that gives some perspective and helps. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of Gohan this season. I think he's probably like top 15. I don't think he's top 10 anymore, but he can. And one thing I didn't mention was, now that Gohan's dropping off, this is a very real thing where when a character is unpopular, people wouldn't know how to fight them. You know, people always say, "Oh, Ginyu bad, Videl bad, Jiren bad, blah blah blah." But when you see a lot of people play Jiren and these kind of characters, Videl, Ginyu, you'll see that a lot of people don't know how to deal with their pressure, even though their quote-unquote pressure or mix-ups aren't good. And that's generally because they don't have the practice or knowledge to counter these characters, even if the knowledge is just, yeah bro, just smash 2H here. You know, a lot of people don't know or whatever. So if Gohan does drop off, I still think he will see some levels of effectiveness due to how out of practice people will be in terms of fighting him and countering him. So, you know, don't be discouraged by top level players dropping him. Just do your thing. I still think it's very strong. So yeah, hope that helps. Let me know in the comments. You know, share the video if you enjoyed it. I'd like to have a discussion about this kind of thing and what kind of characters you guys think are dropping off, even if you think they're still strong. So yeah, just hit me up whenever, Twitter, Discord, YouTube comments, whatever, or in my stream. So yeah, let me know what it is. So yeah, peace out. Hope you enjoyed the video and stay safe. See you guys in a bit.